God, can you believe that Trump hung himself in prison?
Family Guy has been on the air for over 2 decades. In that time, it's made thousands of jokes. Most of them are disposable, some age badly, and a few end up aging way too well. These are the times Family Guy somehow managed to line up with the future.
God, I can't believe Mike Pence came out of the closet just before he hung himself in prison.
In the episode 3 Acts of God, Peter and the gang are watching a New England Patriots game that does not go their way. The Patriots lose, and during the post-game interview, the opposing team credits their win to God.
Mario Williams, you scored the winning touchdown. How does it feel to beat the Patriots?
I'd like to thank God and a jury of my peers who are both responsible for me being able to play today.
Peter does not take this well. Instead of accepting the loss like a normal person, Peter decides the only reasonable response is to track down God himself and confront him for sabotaging the Patriots. When they finally find him, Peter straight up demands that God stop making the Patriots lose. And somehow, it works. Just another insane Family Guy plot, right? Well, the very next year in real life, the Patriots won the Super Bowl in 2015. Was it an actual prediction? Probably not. Just a weird coincidence that lined up perfectly. But once you start noticing these moments, you realize this wasn't the only time. Season 5 had an episode called Meet the Quagmires, where Peter time travels back to 1984 using Death's powers. He screws up the timeline by ditching Lois to hang out with Cleveland instead. When he comes back to the present, everything's different. He never married Lois, she's with Quagmire now, and Peter's freaking out. Death shows up again, and Peter begs for another chance to fix things. Death's annoyed because his schedule is packed, and while he's complaining, he casually mentions that he still needs to collect Antonin Scalia's soul. He jokes that Scalia got shot by Dick Cheney in a hunting accident.
Man, it's been a busy day. Dick Cheney, the chairman of Halliburton, shot Supreme Court Justice Scalia in a hunting accident, and a bullet went right through him and killed Karl Rove and Tucker Carlson.
That episode aired in 2007. Fast forward to February 13, 2016. Antonin Scalia, Supreme Court Justice, is found dead at a hunting resort in Texas. No gunshot, no foul play, probably died of natural causes in his sleep. So they didn't get the exact details right, but they imagine his death connected to a hunting trip 9 years before it actually happened. Wrong cause, right location, and the timing is unsettling. Then there's the Bruce Jenner stuff. Back in 2009, the episode We Love You, Conrad had a scene where Stewie and Brian see Brody Jenner, and Stewie says he can't believe Brody came out of Bruce Jenner's body. Brian corrects him, says Bruce Jenner is a man. Stewie straight up disagrees and calls Bruce an elegant, beautiful Dutch woman.
Ugh, look, there's Brody Jenner. God, what a douchebag. I can't believe that came out of Bruce Jenner's vagina.
Bruce Jenner is a man.
No, Brian. That's what the press would have you believe, but he's not. Bruce Jenner is a woman. An elegant, beautiful Dutch woman.
There's another episode called Lottery Fever, where they show Bruce as his flamboyant cheerleader in full makeup dancing for USO members. At the time, these were just random shock jokes. Then, 2015 happens. Bruce Jenner publicly announces her transition and starts living as Caitlyn Jenner. Suddenly, those old jokes from 6 years earlier don't seem so random anymore. They called it before anyone saw it coming. Season 4, episode Don't Make Me Over. There's a scene where Stewie runs through a shopping mall completely naked, screaming for help, yelling that he escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement.
$10.
$5.
$8 and I'll do it.
Fine.
Help! I've escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement! Help me!
12 years later in 2017, Kevin Spacey gets hit with multiple allegations. Anthony Rapp comes forward saying Spacey made sexual advances toward him back in 1986 when Rapp was only 14 years old. That joke aired over a decade before any of this became public knowledge. How did they know?
Ha! I am so outrageous! Give me the cash.
Cold in here?
Nope, just really small.
Season 10 had an episode called Lego My Mego. Meg gets kidnapped in Paris with her friend Ruth, and they end up at some underground human auction. The show lists off random bidders, and one of the names they throw out is Brett Ratner. Just a random celebrity name for shock value, nothing more.
I have 50,000. I have 75,000. Thank you, Brett Ratner. Do I have 100?
Years later, Brett Ratner gets exposed during the Hollywood, reckoning with multiple allegations of sexual misconduct. That random joke about him bidding on kidnapped girls suddenly doesn't feel so random anymore. The Boston Marathon one is probably the darkest. On March 17, 2013, an episode called Turban Cowboy airs. Peter wins the Boston Marathon by running over other runners with his car. Typical absurd Family Guy stuff. But the episode keeps going. Peter converts to Islam and accidentally joins a terrorist group. He calls to confirm his membership and unknowingly triggers 2 bombs over the phone.
That's crazy. Look, I'm gonna call Mahmood right now on this cell phone he gave me. He'll tell you. Damn phone's busted. Maybe I dialed wrong.
Peter, please stop trying to call Mahmood.
Less than a month later, April 15, 2013, 2 explode at the real Boston Marathon finish line. The attack gets linked to Islamic extremism, which mirrors the episode almost perfectly. An edited clip starts going viral online, making it look like the show predicted the exact attack. The clip was fake, but the damage was done. Fox pulled the episode from Hulu and every official platform immediately. The comparison had already spread everywhere by then. Season 10 also had an episode called Viewer Mail Number 2 with different short segments. One of them is called Fat Man and Robin. Peter gets cursed so that everything he touches turns into Robin Williams. It starts funny, but quickly becomes overwhelming. Peter's going insane with Robin Williams everywhere he looks, and he keeps trying to kill himself because of it. Dark humor played for laughs like Family Guy always does.
Damn these hands!
Mwah! Well, I haven't been to temple in a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, the doors.
Oh, jogging.
Run, Forrest, run!
August 11, 2014, the news breaks that Robin Williams died by suicide. But here's the kicker. BBC 3 was airing that exact episode at the same time the news of his death started spreading. That's not just a coincidence, that's something else entirely. Season 12, episode Life of Brian. Family Guy kills off Brian Griffin. He gets hit by a car and dies from his injuries. Fans were shocked, the family's devastated, nobody saw it coming. 1 week later, Paul Walker dies in a high-speed car crash. At first, the connection seems like a stretch, but then people start pointing out the details. Paul Walker played Brian O'Connor in Fast and Furious. Another Brian, another car, another death, all within the same week. Brian Griffin hit by a car, Brian O'Connor's actor dies in a car crash, 7 days apart. The internet went crazy over it. Was it a prediction? Probably not. But the timing and the circumstances were too close to ignore. Then there's the pandemic one. Season 15, episode 6, Hot Shots, aired in 2016. Lois decides not to vaccinate Stewie after reading about side effects. She teams up with Peter and they start pushing an anti-vax movement in Quahog. Other parents join in and refuse vaccines for their kids. A measles outbreak hits the town. The government steps in and puts the entire city under quarantine. Schools close, movement gets restricted, everything locks down. Stewie tries to escape the quarantine to get vaccinated somewhere else, but his future self warns him about the dangers of staying unvaccinated. At the time, it felt like exaggerated satire making fun of conspiracy theorists and misinformation. 4 years later, COVID-19 hits. The entire world goes into lockdown, quarantines become normal life, and a massive anti-vax movement explodes everywhere, fueled by the exact same misinformation and distrust the episode showed. What felt like absurd comedy in 2016 turned into a blueprint for how society actually responded to a real pandemic. So what is this? Predictions? Coincidences? Lucky guesses? The writers just throwing out so many jokes that some of them eventually stick? Maybe all of it. But the timing on these is hard to ignore. A cartoon that's supposed to be random shock humor keeps lining up with reality in ways that feel impossible. Whether it's planned or pure chance, Family Guy has this weird habit of calling things before they happen. And once you start looking for it, you can't stop seeing it.